The two are now lifelong friends. John, do you like him?
I love him.
Oh, you love him. That's nice.
It's a beautiful spring day at the White House. President Trump paying tribute to a couple of Las Vegas men, John Ponder and Richard Beasley. These guys are dear friends. The president is praising John for his incredible life transformation and Richard for being an unshakable presence in John's life. How these two ended up standing next to a president, well, that's a story you have to see to believe.
I was on the absolute road to destruction. I grew up addicted to everything known to man. We turned to the streets to kind of validate our masculinity. And for me, the streets led me to the drugs, drugs led me to the gangs, gangs led me to the criminal activity. Jail time in the state of New York, doing prison time here in the state of Nevada.
John Ponder's story starts in a place that many others do. Tough neighborhood, no father, drugs and crime all around. So a young John learned many of his life lessons on the street, oftentimes the hard way, including the first time he was arrested.
Do you remember what age that was?
12. Breaking and entering, stealing things from stores.
In and out of trouble, in and out of jail, John spent nearly 30 years in an endless cycle of crime. His road of destruction eventually led Ponder to Pahrump. It's 2004. He's in trouble again. Drugs and bank robberies this time.
I remember that day back in the Pahrump, just up to absolutely no good.
He's sitting inside the Pahrump Sheriff's Office when an FBI agent walks in. John Ponder will soon be heading to a maximum security prison in Pennsylvania. Life as he knows it is over.
I would have probably spent the rest of my life in prison, or I'd be dead now.
The agent arrests him. For those of you wondering, where does Richard Beasley come into this story? Right here.
Who's the agent who arrested John?
I arrested John Ponder.
14 years before these two took this picture with the president, FBI agent Richard Beasley sent John Ponder to prison.
That's when I was introduced to John Ponder, who was in custody up in the Nye County Jail.
Here they were, the agent and the convict. In that moment, the most unlikely of friendships was born.
When he walked in the room, it was something about his demeanor that just made me feel like, everything is going to be all right.
The drive from Pahrump back to Las Vegas gave them more time to talk, and John started thinking, maybe this FBI guy isn't so bad.
I know that I'm still in trouble. I know that I'm still going to prison, but it was something about the communication that he had with me. He treated me very fairly, and it was almost as if he was talking to me as if we were friends.
Throughout his criminal proceedings, Beasley would check in with Ponder from time to time. One day, Beasley received a gift.
It was a necktie, with a very nice note in there from John saying, "Hey, Rich, thank you for treating me like a gentleman. I very much appreciate it, and best of luck." And I'd never gotten a gift like that from anybody that I'd sent to prison.
Common sense would tell you this was the last time the agent and the man he sent to prison communicated. But there's nothing common about this story. The two men shared something Ponder didn't even know he needed until he was sitting in his prison cell one night.
Being behind 50-foot walls in the hills of Pennsylvania, one of the lowest moments of my life there was when I realized that I was there by myself, away from family.
That loneliness slowly gave way to something else. John Ponder found his faith, and with it, finally found his purpose.
When I realized that God was all that I had, that's when I realized that God was all that I need. And life just completely went to a whole nother level in that moment.
Ponder spent the rest of his time helping other inmates find their faith. Days after being released from prison, he had lunch with the man who put him there.
He was fresh out of prison. He was in really good shape. He had a long ponytail and a braid, but he also had a Bible. And I've seen that before where guys will try to use the Bible as a prop.
Beasley also knew when it was real. He could see that John Ponder was a different man.
From that day forward, we just had, this incredible relationship got built up, and I have to tell you that he is one of my best friends to this day.
During his 25-year career with the FBI, Beasley arrested hundreds of people. Only John is a friend.
Richard, is it in any way weird to be sitting next to the guy you arrested all those years ago?
It kind of is. You know, you would never think that as a young agent you would be friends with anybody that you sent to prison.
Almost 2 years after their first meeting at the White House, John and Richard are hanging out with President Trump again. This time, it's John introducing him.
President Donald J. Trump.
The president is in Las Vegas attending a graduation ceremony for Hope for Prisoners, a group John founded. Over the last 10 years, Hope has helped thousands of men and women starting a new life after prison. Their improbable friendship moved the president. They're hoping it can help others too.
It tells a story of forgiveness and, breaking down barriers and bridging the gap between where it is and where it could be.